Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Garavavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Pada Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Krita Vande Bhagavantav Punah Punah. So the last class we didn't have because Dinesh ji was not well. So he didn't come, so we didn't have the class. Today happens to be Monday, so we are having a Upadesha Sahasri and the page number 169 and seventh verse. Page number 169, seventh verse. Please take. And then the section is just recently when we started. Parthiva Prakaranam consisting of earth. Earth means all the five elements, consisting of the five elements. So this is what we have to see. And we have seen the sixth verse. I'm going to revise the sixth verse. Seventh verse we go to. Just as the sun, anything that falls in its light, it is illumined. It is illumined for me to see. In the same manner, the Atma, we can say, sees everything everything means it sees the intellect and all its thoughts and the sounds and anything that is every perception is illumined. Illumined, we say, the self illumines, we say, but that's not true. The self doesn't illumine. It doesn't illumine itself for itself. The self sees. You don't illumine the snake. You see the snake. In the same manner, here also the self sees everything as everything. It sees everything. The self sees. The self sees everything effortlessly. Whatever falls within the scope of the sunlight, it is effortlessly. The sun illumines it choicelessly. In the same manner, here also, the self is choicelessly sees anything that falls within its scope. This is what we have seen, sixth verse. And Sharirendriya Sanghataha Atmatva Gatam Dhiyam Nitya Atma Jyotisha Dhiram Diptam Visimshanti Sukhadaya. This is seventh verse. We have to see Atmendriya Sanghataha. This body is called Sanghataha. It's an aggregate of things. It's not indivisible. Whenever we say the aggregate of things means it is divisible. It is you can divide it. You can cut it into pieces. Aggregate of things. It is connected to each other. Many bits make the body. Many elementals make the body. There is space in it. There is air in it. There is fire in it. There is water in it. There is earth in it. In this manner, it is divisible. In this manner, if you take one element, drop by drop, little by little, it is divisible. Water is divisible. Air is divisible. Space is divisible by mind. Different points of this space. American space is different from Indian space like this. Space is divisible. And in the same manner, the earth is also divisible. The body is divisible. It is Sanghataha. It is called, even though it is called aggregate, but it is identified with Atmatvena Gataha. Atmatvena Gataha means it is something Atmatvena Gatam Dhiyam. Gatam Dhiyam. It is identified with the body. The aggregate is, the body is identified with the self, and the self is also identified with the intellect. Dhyam, gatam dhyam. Gatam means gatam dhyam. So we have to say Atmatvena should be to both. It is in between Atmatvena. It is identified. Atma is identified with the body, and Atma is identified with the mind also, and therefore Nitya Atma Jyotisha identified with the Atma. Atma is identified, and therefore, and Atma Jyotisha, it sees. Atma only sees. That is its actuality. It only sees the body. It only sees every thought. Doesn't identify with the body. Identification is a different identification. The identification is different from seeing. Seeing is witnessing. The one who witnesses, the one who sees, is different from the seen. But then you don't stand as the seer. You identify it as you identify with the seen, and therefore when we identify with the seen, then the scene's problems become my problems. That is jivatvam. That is individuality. Yatam dhyam atma jyotisha with nitya atma jyotisha. Nitya means eternal. Atma jyotisha means by the light of the sun, by the light of the self. Atma jyotisha, by the light of the self. Deeptam. Deeptam means the body is illumined, the aggregate is illumined, the every thought is illumined, the buddhi is illumined. Then not only the intellect, but also the intellect also has many thoughts, and the intellect also is illumined. Illumined means it sees, seeing. The self sees the body, and the self sees every thought. Gatam dhiyam vinna visamshan sukhadaya deeptam visimshanti sukhadaya. And the sukhadis, the thoughts can be thought of pleasure, thought of pain, thought of jealousy, thought of hatred. These are all various what we call the swabhavikas. Swabhavikas means by without effort, without your choice, you find yourself with it. And you find yourself with the anger. You find yourself with the jealousy. You find yourself with the hatred. You find yourself with the desire. You find yourself kama krodha. You find yourself with the desire. You find yourself kama krodha lobha moha mada matsarya. You find yourself with vanity, and this is all what swabhavikas. In ignorance, they are all called swabhavikas. Every jiva has got these swabhavika pravrittis. Swabhavika, these choiceless things, they are choicelessly manifest and choicelessly become unmanifest. And when they become manifest, who sees them? Seeing them is what is called manifestation. Seeing them. The Paramatma only, the light of the self only sees them. Seeing them is what is called the manifestation. Not seeing them is called the unmanifest state. And therefore, when you see them, they have become manifest, and they're all seen. Even though we say the self illumines them, but the self sees them as a seer, but it's not identified with them. The self is not identified. Even the actuality it doesn't identify, and therefore the sukhadaya na visimshanti. Sukhadaya means the pleasure and pain, the thoughts, the qualities of the thoughts do not qualify, do not qualify the self. The pleasures and pains, these various thoughts, the thought of anger, etc., do not qualify the self. This is the meaning of the seventh verse. Sharira dukkha adi na atmanam dukkhe asmeti hi prapashati. Prapashati means one sees that if the dukkhi is when they Shiro dukkadina. When the head is aching, and I am identified with the head, and therefore dukkadina. When a person who is identified with the head, he is called dukkadina. Atmanam dukhyasmi. And then he is identified with the body. Identified with the body means identified with the head. And therefore, I am dukhi. In this manner, dukhi asmiti, he pashyati, he sees. Dukhinaha, dukhinaha. The one who is identified with the body, he sees that I am also dukhi. I am having the pain. I am having the pain. But if he is only the seer, not the identifier, if he is free from identification, then he is called the witness. He is only the witness. The witness is called dukkha smriti pashyati. Seeing the headache, a person sees himself to be the dukhi. Drashta anyaha dukhinaha. The seer is the unidentifying identity, the identity of the self, not identifying with the body, is different from the identifying with the body. The drashta, he is called drashta. Drashta means the seer. He is only the seer without identification. Drashta anyaha dukhinaha. The one who identifies, he is called dukhi. Without identification, he is not a dukhi. And therefore, the identity with the identification is different from the identity of the self without identification. Drashta anyaha. The seer is different. The witnessing self is different. Drashta anyaha dukhinaha. Drishatva drashtutva cha. Because the head is seen, the headache is also objectified, and therefore it is drishyam. It is drishyam, and therefore and atma is drashta. The drashta means this only the seer of the body, the seer of the head, the seer of the headache. He is not identified with it. Drashta drishtutvacha na dukhi aso. He is not dukhi. Drashta is not dukhi. Dukhi is dukhi. The jiva is dukhi. Drashta is not dukhi. Drashta is one who identifies with the drishyam. He is called drishyam. But he is called jiva. But the drashta means the one who only he sees, but he doesn't identify. He is called drashta, and therefore drashta anyaha. Drashta is different from the dukhi. Dukhinaha anyaha. Drashta anyaha dukhinaha. He is different from the dukhi. Who is the dukhi? The one who identifies that I am the body. I am the body in this manner. The one who understands that I am not the body. He is only the seer of the body, and he is different. He doesn't say that I am a dukhi, and therefore he doesn't say that I am dukhi. Therefore he says na dukhi aso. He is not dukhi. Dukhi syad dukhi aham manad. If a person thinks that I am aham manad means ऐसा मानने से आई एम दुखी मानने से aham dukhi iti manat. I am the dukhi in this manner. When if he thinks, then he is a dukhi. Dukhi syad, dukhi aham manat. A person who thinks that I am the dukhi syad. He becomes dukhi. Dukhi syad. Dukhinaha darshana na nava. And a person who only sees, he is not dukhi. He sees only the identification of the dukhi. The drashta sees only the identification of the dukhi. The one who sees the identification of the dukhi, the identification of the dukhi is also objectifiable, and therefore dukhinaha darshanat na nava. He is only a seer. As a seer, he is not a dukhi. As an identifier, he is a dukhi. As a seer, he is not dukhi. But even in identification, he continues to be the seer. He continues to be the seer. The seer doesn't die. The seerness doesn't die. The seerness is always there. The entire seer doesn't become the body. The seer only, the seer remains the seer. That is the actuality of the seer. Drashta is the actuality. Is not qualified by the seen. Darshanat nava samhate angadi drashta. Samhate means the body. The body is it is a connection of aggregate of many things. Samhate in this angadi drashta. Angadi drashta means the self. The drashta is in the body. The drashta is in the body. It is identified with the body. The drashta is in the body, and the body is samhata is connected with one after one bit with another bit. In this manner, samhatadi angadi with the angadivi means the various limbs. The limbs, the drashta. He is the seer. He is the seer in the the body. He is the seer in the body. He is the seer in the body. Dukhi dukkasya naiva saha. He is not dukhi. He is dukkasya. He is not dukhi. He is a drashta. He is only a seer. And therefore, the seer never becomes the seer is not qualified by the seen. And therefore, one has to understand that I am the seer, I am not the seen. I am not the body. And therefore, it is said that you understand Atma Anatma Viveka. You discern between Atma and Anatma. Atma and the body. Yourself and the body. Aham and the body. And therefore, when you discern between the body and the Aham, then you are not the Dukhi, etc. You are not the Dukhi. And therefore, also Drashta is different from Dukhi. The Dukhi is the one who is Adhyaropa. Adhyaropa, that means Adhyasa. And the one who has Adhyasa is different from Drashta. Drashtutvam is different. Drashtutvam is not understood by man. Drashtutvam is not understood by man. The Drashtutvam means I am only the seer. I am not the seen. In this manner, he has to understand. He has to discern between the Drashta and Drishyam. Drashta and Drishyam. Then he is free from being qualified by the body. The body are the qualities of the body. Chakshurvat, supposing we say Chakshurvat karma kartrutvam. Karma kartrutvam means it is both the subject and the object. The chakshu can be seen and it is the seer also. Chakshurvat. In the mirror you can see, you can objectify the chakshu, and the chakshu can objectify. And therefore it is both the subject and the object. Kartru karmatvam, karma kartrutvam. Iti chet. It is syad iti chet, syad chet. Like the eye, it is both the subject and the object. Similarly, the self is also both the subject and the object. In this manner, if you say, no, na, anekameva tat, the I is always more than one. It is divisible, whereas the Atma is not divisible. It is indivisible, and therefore it is Atma. Consciousness is different from the I. Consciousness is indivisible. The I is divisible. Tat anekameva tat. The I is anekam, and Atma is ekam. Ekameva tat. Sammatam cha tat. Tataha. Na Atma. Atma is not sammatam. Atma is not an aggregate. Atma is not made of many things. Atma is not made of many things. Atma is only consciousness. Consciousness is another name for Atma. Drashtutvat, and it is the drashta. It is the Siya. It is the Siya. It is the illuminer nine. It is the Siya. It is the seer only. Drashtutvat. Karmata na vrajet. Karmatam na karma. Drashtutvat. Karmatam na vrajet. Karmatam na na vrajet. Karmatam ना व्रजेत व्रजेत होना चाहिए कर्मताम ना जोत ना व्रजेत व्रजेत होना चाहिए कर्मताम ना व्रजेत कर्मताम na is there in the beginning. Natma drashtutvat, because it is Atma is being the seer, it can never become objectified. It is always the seer. Na Atma vrajet, na Atma vrajet. Na Atma drashtutvat karmatam vrajet. It can never become objectified by this by it is never objectifiable because it is the objectifier. Because it is a subject, it can never become the object. It can never become the object. And therefore, as the seer, it is not qualified by the seen. As the seer, it is always seer. But the seen is not me. The seen is not qualified by the seen is not doesn't qualify the seer. This is what we have to say. And therefore, here we have to say the chakshu. Chakshu is made of many things. It is an aggregate, whereas Atma is not an aggregate. Atma is only the seer. Chakshu is only, it's an aggregate. It is sammatam. Chakshu is sammatam. Sammatam, it is divisible. Sammatam or chakshu is sammatam. Whenever we say sammatam, it means only it is divisible. It is divisible, whereas Atma is not divisible. Everything in the creation is divisible, but Atma is not, the Upadanam is not divisible. And therefore, the entire creation is within the self. And therefore, the Upadanam, because it is Upadanam, and there because Atma is Upadanam for everything, and therefore, it is not divisible. It cannot be Upadanam only for one or two things, because it is Upadanam for everything. And therefore, it can never be objectified. Drashtrutva, it is only the seer, it is not identified. As the seer, it is drashta. As the seer, it is not qualified by the seen, and therefore it can never be objectified. It is the objectifier. ज्ञान यत्न्यादि अनेक आत्मकत्व आत्मनोपि matam yadi. Matam yadi means even if it is thought to be many things. Jnana, knowledge, yatna means the will. Yatnadi, anekatmakatva, anekatvam, atmanopi, matam yadi. If it is thought that it is made of many things. Atma is made of many things. One is knowledge, the other is the will. In this manner, if one thinks no, if one thinks that is wrong, if that is opinion, then it is wrong, because it has only jnanam. Jnanam alone is the nature of Atma, not the will. Na eka jnana gunatvat, eka jnana, na, yadi matam, if it is thought to be so, na, it is wrong. Eka jnana gunatvat. Eka jnana gunatvat means its nature is only jnanam. Eka gunam. Eka gunam means that is also swarupa gunam. That is also swarupa. It is not an adjective. It is not an adjective. It is not a quality. It is its nature. Eka guna. Jyotirvat, like the light. In the light, there is nothing else but the light. The illumina. It illumines for me to see. It illumines the forms for me to see. Whereas I see. I don't illumine for another consciousness. I don't illumine for anatma. I don't illumine for atma. I am the atma. I don't illumine. I am only the seer, and therefore I see. I don't illumine. I am only the seer. Atmano Atmadhamadi, Jyotir was like the light. The lamp is there is nothing but the Jyoti is nothing but the light. In the same manner, Atma is also nothing but Jnanam. There is nothing but Jnanam, and that Jnanam is indeed me, is indeed Atma. That Jnanam, Jyotirvattasya karmata, and it cannot be objectified. It cannot be objectified. That is the 11th verse, Ji. 11th verse we have seen. Now we have to see the 12th verse. Jyotishaha Jyotakatvepi Yadvanatma Prakashanam. Jyotishaha, the lamp, Jyotakatvepi, even though it illumines, but it doesn't illumine itself. Atma Prakashanam na. Atma means Swaprakashanam na. It is not Swaprakashakam. It is not Swaprakasham. Yadvatu na Atma Prakashanam. It is not, there is no, it doesn't illumine itself. It doesn't illumine itself. In the same manner, Atma Jyoti also doesn't illumine itself. It doesn't objectify itself. It doesn't see itself. It sees only I am not Anatma. I am not Anatma is the only sadhanam that is to be done. I am not the Anatma. I am not the Deha. Is the only thing that is to be done. I am not this Anatma. Bhedepi evam. Bhedepi, even though there is a Bheda, Samatvacha, Jnaha, Atmanam Naiva Pashyati. Bhedepi evam, Bhedepi. Bhedemi, even if it is Bhedepi, even though it is Bhedepi means even though it is many things, just as light, though an illuminator does not illumine itself. So even assuming that there is a even assuming there is a subject-object division, it cannot illumine itself. For it is a homogeneous conscious nature. Bhedepi, even if we imagine that there is a dividing line between itself sees itself, even Bhedepi itself sees itself, even that the dividing line is there, but still Bhedepi evam, in this manner, even if we accept that there is a dividing line, it can be the subject and object, and it can be the both subject and samatvat. Samatvat means it is being the same. Being the same. It is not. It is homogeneous. Homogeneous means samatvat. It's being the same all over, and therefore, jnaha, the one who sees atmanam naiva pashyati. He doesn't see it. He doesn't see himself. He doesn't see himself, and therefore, the one who sees the anatma doesn't see himself. Even if you come to know, there is no. It is not you come to know yourself. No, you say only come to know that I am not anatma. I am not anatma. I am not anatma. That's all you can only understand. I am not anatma. Atma can never become karma. Atma can never become an object. It cannot be objectified. It always remains the knower. It doesn't become the known. And therefore, even if you imagine that there is a Bheda, that there is something, so it is both the subject and the object, but it cannot illuminate, it cannot know itself. Because even if you think that it is both Bhedepi, even if you think that it is both the karma and the karta, But as being samatvacha, being the homogeneous, it is always the consciousness knowledge, and therefore it cannot illuminate itself. It cannot objectify itself. It can only objectify anatma, and therefore the atma being should be pulled back, should be under discerned from anatma. Atma has to be discerned from anatma. That's all that is to be done. There is no other sadhanam to be done. The only sadhanam to be done is that the discerning between atma and anatma. In this manner, the 12th verse is over, and therefore, even though we have to understand one thing, that is, atma is not made of. It's not an aggregate of many things, and there it's not also made of many things. It's not divisible, because it's not made of many things. Anything that is made of many things can be divided into those things, but can be is divisible. But a consciousness is not divisible. Atma is not divisible. You are not divisible, and therefore everything is not divisible. Whereas anatma is divisible, matter is divisible, consciousness is not divisible. Matter is divisible because matter is made of many things. Matter is very bit. It is. It is. That is why the Nayayikas say atoms. Atoms are divisible. Atoms are divisible. Atoms are divisible. Whereas the Atma is not divisible, and therefore you cannot. It cannot be objectified. It is always the subject, and therefore this can be understood that the sadhana that is to be done is discerning between Atma and Anatma. That I am not the body. I am not the body. I am only free from the body. I am not the I am only a conscious being. I am solely a conscious being. I am not the anatma. In this manner one has to do vichara. And that vichara will lead to jnana. And there is no other sadhana to be done. There is no other sadhana to be done. The only sadhana to be done is I am not anatma. Discerning between atma and anatma. That is the only sadhana to be done. There is no other sadhana to be done. Even the people do sadhanas, but that sadhana is only preparative of yourself. So preparative of for the discerning. Preparative of getting up early in the morning. It maybe prepares you for doing the sadhana, for discerning. Sadhana for discerning. It is a preparatory for discerning. If you can discern, then you should forget all other sadhanas and you should only discern. And therefore, discerning is the only sadhana to be done, the only thing to be done, discerning. And that discerning, once it is done, then what is it that is to be understood? That Atma is not made of many things and it cannot be objectified. The light cannot be light can objectify for me the jiva to see, but as drashta, I am Swata Siddham, and therefore I am not Anatma. I cannot objectify I can't see myself. I can only see that I am not the Anatma. I can only see that I am not the Anatma. I am not the Deha. But in this manner, discerning is the only sadhana to be done. And the more of it we will see in the next class. Thank you very much. Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you, Ji.